In a recent study done by the Family Research Council, they found that 54% of children grow up in a broken home situation. These kids, they might be troubled. They might end up being lost. They may look for some sort of sense of peace. A lot of kids might turn to different things. They might turn to friends. Some kids, unfortunately, might turn to drugs. But what if I told you that there was a nonprofit organization here in San Angelo that was working to counter this? It was seeking to give these kids that sense of peace that they're looking for. This nonprofit organization is called House of Faith. Therefore, today in my speech, I attempt to persuade you to volunteer your time with House of Faith. In high school, I spent several years volunteering with House of Faith, so I can testify to the impact it has on the lives of these kids and their families, and even the volunteers such as myself. Today, I'll be talking about House of Faith through three main points. First, talking about the purpose of House of Faith and what its benefits are. Two, I'll be talking about the needs of House of Faith, as well as three, how you can help. So first, let's talk about the purpose of House of Faith and its benefits. So House of Faith was founded by Kevin Reynolds in 1994. The mission of House of Faith is to bring the name of Jesus to neighborhood children. So this is kind of the broad goal of House of Faith. They want to bring the name of Jesus to these kids, and they do it through lots of fun activities. According to the House of Faith website, they bring the name of Jesus to more than 1,800 kids every school year. They do this through a majority of camps, rallies, meetings, all sorts of little things, even parties. House of Faith, it benefits everyone in our community on a full-scale level. So first, we'll talk about the benefits it has on households. So in a lot of situations, parents who have young kids have to find some sort of after-school care for their kids before they get off of work. And for a lot of people, these after-school programs can be rather expensive. But House of Faith is a free after-school option that these parents could have. And to make it even more convenient, we hold these camps and rallies right on the school property. So all these kids have to do once they get out of class is just come to our designated meeting spot. Two, we'll talk about the benefit it has on children. As I stated earlier, a lot of these kids come from broken homes. Their parents might be divorced. They might be alcoholics. Maybe these kids don't get very much food. So when they come to House of Faith, they're able to come here and be with friends. They're able to have fun. We even give them a snack. For a lot of these kids, House of Faith is the highlight of their week. And the benefit it has on volunteers. House of Faith, what I've learned is, in my time volunteering there, is I've seen lots of families' lives change forever. These kids, they become saved or they have a change in their behavior, and it trickles down to their family too. I've seen lives changed. I've built lots of relationships with these kids that come. I've built lifelong friendships with some of the other workers. This is just one of the many reasons why I suggest everyone should volunteer with House of Faith, at least for 1 year. Now that we've talked about the purpose and benefits of House of Faith, let's move on to talk about some of their needs. One of the biggest needs House of Faith has is money. Since it's a nonprofit organization, they rely heavily on funding from other people. This upcoming week is San Angelo Gives. This is an event where people donate money to nonprofit organizations of their choice. And this week alone, House of Faith will receive most of their funding for the whole year. Another need that House of Faith has is volunteers. As we stated earlier, 1,800 kids is a lot of kids to reach. And when you don't have enough workers, things and situations can get kind of out of control. And I've witnessed this. You might have fights that break out, or kids who aren't willing to listen to the lesson. You need to have workers in order to be able to control these rallies so these kids can get the most out of it. So now that we've talked about the needs of House of Faith, let's talk about what you can do to help. First of all, you can donate money. Due to recent technology, donating has never been more easy. All you have to do is go to their website, hofministries.org. There on their website, you can just hit the donate tab. There you put in the amount you'd like to give along with your card info, and then you submit your payment, and it's that simple. 2, you could volunteer your time. As I said, I feel like everyone should volunteer at least 1 year with House of Faith. They'll find it'll help them. You can help out this amazing nonprofit organization. Most importantly, you're helping these kids. So you might be asking, how do you volunteer? There's 2 ways you can volunteer. The first way is you can go onto the website and hit the volunteer tab. There it'll have you fill out a form, and shortly after that, a staff member will be in contact with you about your availability. Or you could just go up to the House of Faith office. House of Faith is located on 321 Montecito Drive. So you go there and you would fill out a form in person, and you'd be able to talk to a staff person there on the spot. I feel really strongly in everyone's need to give back to their community in some way. So for House of Faith, the more volunteers they have, the more kids they'll be able to reach. By you volunteering, you have the chance to change one of these kids' lives forever. This is just bigger than yourself. This is doing something for other people. And as I said earlier as well, House of Faith had a great benefit on my life, and I recommend anyone to work for it. In today's speech, we've talked about House of Faith and what its benefits are. We've talked about the needs and what you can do to help. I've done an extensive amount of research on this topic. I've spent several years working for it, so I can testify to the impact it has on the lives of people. And my hope would be that you would take some time to volunteer at least 1 year of your life to serving with House of Faith. Thank you for your time.